how do you create your scene?
Is that for anyone in particular?
Element animation.
Element animation.
What we do is we actually go onto our Minecraft server and we get some help from the players on there to actually build sets. And once we've got a set, we have a program that exports the world from Minecraft into a 3D file, so we don't actually have to go in and build it from scratch, which, you know, that helps out a lot. We do get some problems with textures and things like that which we have to fix, but it's a lot easier than having to do it from scratch. But once that's in there, all we have to do is the lighting and get our characters in there to animate.
Okay, great question, thank you. One more over here then.
That's a question for Element Dan. You described the life of the making of a video or an animation from start to finish, and there being around about 2 weeks, I heard. How long is the output video from that 2 weeks work or longer?
For about 2 weeks work, you're looking at about a 2.5 minute video. If like I said before, if it's more action intensive, it could be shorter because it takes longer to do any kind of action scenes because there's a lot more keyframes you have to go in and fix little details. If it's people just sat there or stood there talking to each other for the majority of it, you don't have to do anything with their legs, you know. So if you've got less body parts to move, the quicker it is.
And because I'm there, I'm going to steal some of this question. That's okay. We put this finicky here right now. Thank you, by the way. Let's see. It really depends on how many people you have working on it, what the actual, because a lot of the time of getting an animation out isn't the animating itself, it's the rendering, which literally will take hours upon hours if you're not using a render farm, which can cost thousands of dollars if you are. So it's really, you have to make some sacrifices too. So if you have like a really beautiful ocean, you might want to tone it back down to save like 2 hours off a frame, because sometimes that could be the difference between meeting your deadline and not.
So we've chatted about the process and your individual videos. Where do you see the future of animation on YouTube going? Have you guys got any plans, or can you see anything on the horizon that might not be happening at the moment, but you think could be quite exciting for yourselves and for the audience?
Well, I know that I'm working on a music video that I'm trying to make a lot different than most people have ever made a music video before. It's based off of a really nice 70s songs. You ever heard of Take On Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Take On Me. So it's rotoscoped in that black and white chalk style, but it's also 3D animated. I'm trying to figure out how to do that right now.
Well, that's interesting. So rather than, we talked about Wrecking Ball, for example, and seeing a song that's popular at the moment, you're going to go back into the archives, as it were. That's a really good idea.
It kind of does feel like it all started with Minecraft, and now you guys are taking this idea and this music side of it, and it's starting to become its own thing now as well. Like, it's moved on from being Minecraft. It's still rooted in that, but if you're rotoscoping things, then you're definitely stepping away from using that pixel art.
And I can say myself here that, well, I can't go too much into detail about it, but I mean, as far as things that I have planned in the future, an original music video that I've done in collaboration with Music by Pedro and Bootstrap Buckaroo.
So collaborations are a big thing for you guys as well. I'm guessing that helps the creative process too. It's always good to bounce off of people, isn't it?
Yeah. For an animator, collaborating with other YouTubers at the start of your channel is a really smart idea, because then you get two audiences mixing together. So like Element Animation have done, they got approached by Seth Bling, and so they made a video for him, and then that sent the traffic that's from his channel to them. So it just kind of furthers their YouTube channel. So collaborations are a really smart idea at the start of a YouTube channel.
Great stuff. Do you have a few more questions?
Yeah, I'll go now. I'll field a few. Any more questions? Anyone from my side? You, the camera. What's your name? What's your question?
Callum, would any of you consider cooperating with like other animators such as Anisha or Rift?
Collaborating with animators it depends on what kind of style they have, because two animators can sometimes clash. Unless you both use the same terminology, you both use the same setup, you both have the same style, it can get messy. It's not impossible, but I've found that when we've tried to work with other animators, it's not worked out so well.
Yeah, that's really the case. I think the only pair of animators that have really collaborated together is the Dig Build Live team, Slammer Cow and Buckstrap Buckaroo. And I did it again, didn't I? But yeah, so there's some flaws. Like sometimes you could definitely, like if there was two people collaborating, you might see like one scene's animated a certain way, and then the other scene. That's what Dan's talking about. So there's just differences between animation styles, and so you have to make sure they really mesh on a animating level. And I think Dig Build Live definitely does it.
Okay, we've got about 20 minutes left, I think, so we'll get as many questions as possible. If there's anything we've not touched on yet that you'd love to know about, we don't want anybody going home empty-handed. Okay, this young lady over here clearly has a burning question. Actually, sorry, I have my glasses on. Right, what is your name? Alfie, and what's your question?
Do you use rigs sort of more like in different videos repeatedly?
Do you guys get that?
No, not really, sorry.
Do you use the same rigs in all your videos?
Oh, no, that's a good one. That's a pretty good one.
Very good, very strong.
Okay, so rigs, yeah. I don't think that they usually use basically based off of the same rig. They probably update it. I know for a fact that Bootstrap definitely updates his rigs over time, all the time, apparently, according to Ant. But yeah, it depends on your style. Maybe you want to try a different rig, but most of the time you find the rig you like, you kind of stick with it, maybe add some improvements to make it even better. But most of the time, isn't that?
So a good example of upgrading a rig is in Minecraft, when you walk upstairs, that's pretty much half of a block that you've got to walk up. And doing that with a rig that has kind of a limit of where the knee is, it breaks and it just looks horrific. So you've got to constantly keep updating the rig. Like you can have tons of versions of it. So you can have one that are just for face features. You can have one that's deliberately cartoony, where when he falls, he kind of drags and it just looks really stylized. So having a rig per scenario is much better than kind of having one and just hoping for the best.
And Bennett?
The question again was, all right. Well, me personally, I don't do the animation side of things, but I do know specifically that I mean, for any one given video, I would say it doesn't change too much. At least with me having worked with Nick Nickham, I do know that Bootstrap Buckaroo specifically, he's the kind of guy who is an absolute hardcore perfectionist. And I mean, he's updating his rigs, I don't know, like every month or two or something like that. He's always adding, just new things that, I mean, blow me away personally.
Okay, good to hear your opinion. Alfie, did that answer your question? Brilliant.